Hello again, welcome to another Mental Gamers opinion video piece type thing. This time it's about the new PlayStation Vita. Now, apparently it's a bit smaller than the original version. And apparently they're going to stop manufacturing the original version to replace it with the new one. One of the sort of main criticisms about the new PlayStation Vita is that the screen is not as good as the original. They've gone from using the OLED to the LED screen. I think, as we all know, OLED, that's normally not sort of restricted or reserved, but used for good smartphones, such as the Samsung Galaxy series. They tend to have the OLED screens because they're sharper, they're more crisp and whatever. LED screens tend to be not quite as sharp and as clear, I suppose. What I wanted to say as well is, do we really need Sony to stop manufacturing the Vita? Because, people said, we don't want a new screen, it's not as good, blah 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 blah. So if I can, I will go through the specifications. Now, to start off, obviously there's the new model number. The original was the PCH 1000 series, and the new one is PCH-2000 series. They will both have the same ARM Cortex-A9 core processor, which is it's a 4-core, basically a quad-core processor. The GPU will be the same. Serial number, whatever for that, is the SGX543MP4 Plus. That is going to be the same. Main memory, 512 megabytes, that remains the same. The VRAM, which is basically the video RAM, is 128 megabytes. That's the same. Now for the difference in size. I've got the specification from the old one. Now, the external dimensions, obviously these are approximate. This is in millimeters, so you can make that out in centimeters. Now, the original was 182 times 18.6 times 83.5 millimeters. That's the width times height times depth. You might think, okay, that's pretty good. But then the new one is approximately 183.6, which kind of means it's a little bit wider. The height is 85.1 millimeters, which is a little bit taller, I guess you could say. The width, the depth, I should say, is 15 millimeters. So that's the only difference. It's actually a little bit bigger in size, but it's actually 3.6 millimeters approximately thinner. That's the only main difference, really. And as that says, that excludes the largest projection. That's just the unit. That isn't from the back of the unit to the top of one of the sticks. Now, the weight, the new one is approximately 219 grams. The old one was 260 grams. Now, I think one of the main differences between the old Vita and the new one is that the new one, I think, is more plastic than metal. If you look at the old Vita, it has got some metal parts, as in aluminium casing. But when you look at the new one, it seems like there's less metal, or basically more plastic. So obviously that's going to make it lighter. The screen is going to be the same size of 5 inches. With the 960 x 544 pixel resolution. But the only difference is that as the old screen was an OLED or OLED screen, the new one is just going to be an LCD. Now, I think we all know that LCD is a lower quality than OLED, even though Sony are kind of disputing that and saying, is there really any difference? I think there is. You've still got the front and rear camera, a frame rate of 20 FPS at the lowest resolution, that's at 320x240, 60 FPS at 640x480 resolution, and it only goes up to 640x480 resolution. Then you've got the 6-axis motion sensing system. That's similar to the PlayStation 3 joypad controller, whatever. Inside there are sensors inside the PlayStation 3 and obviously PlayStation 4 controller. This means that a certain software title, certain games that do make use of that system, this 6-axis system, which means if you tilt to the left or the right, then you will move to the left or the right as well. And that's the same with the PlayStation Vita. If you move that around and you're playing a certain game, you know, it will move accordingly. Anyway, the location bit, it says built-in GPS, that's the 3G Wi-Fi model only, and Wi-Fi location service. Obviously, because the new Vita hasn't got 3G, basically it's got no built-in GPS, it's just Wi-Fi. It's got Wi-Fi location support. Sound, built-in stereo speakers and a built-in microphone. That seems to be mainly all that is in the new version. I mean, you got a bit more information on the old one here. The PS button, power button, directional buttons, yada. The wireless communications. I'm guessing it's the same thing. It's got the IEEE 802.11b ad hoc mode Bluetooth, blah blah blah. I'm guessing it's Bluetooth, something I wouldn't have thought. Well, actually, no. Why would it have? I mean, if it hasn't got 3G, why would it need Bluetooth as well? Sort of other information about. Well, if I go through the press release, it says it's more streamlined. Not exactly streamlined. I mean, it's just a bit thinner. That's hardly more streamlined. It's actually going to be a little bit bigger in terms of width and depth, but it's actually going to be a little bit thinner. So it's hardly that streamlined, is it really? You've got 1 GB of internal memory, but that's not going to be enough for most games. I mean, a lot of games can be over a gigabyte, and some can be, well, just under a gigabyte. They're going to be asking £180. Yeah, okay, that might be cheaper than when the original Vita was launched. I mean, now, there's a deal where you can buy the PlayStation Vita, a 16GB card, which you do really need a card that big to be able to fit more than one game on, basically. It's like a download code or something for 10 games. £140. Now, you're not going to get that kind of deal bundled in with the new Vita until maybe another couple of years' time. This is the thing, they're going to stop manufacturing the old Vita, which I think is a bit unfair, really, because they are replacing it with a slightly inferior product and kind of asking around the same kind of price, which is a bit unfair on the consumer. Does the details 15% lighter and 20% slimmer? Obviously the reason it's 15% lighter is because it's 20% slimmer. The micro USB port, which that's kind of standard now for all devices of this kind. A longer battery life, okay, fair enough. I mean, everybody likes a longer battery life so you can game on. The 1GB internal memory isn't really going to be used, I wouldn't say, for games. That's mainly going to be used to store saves, really. You know, I mean, are you really going to use that 1GB for games? You know, it's going to be just for saves. I mean, you get a gigabyte, if you're subscribed to PlayStation Plus, you have 1GB of cloud storage for your game saves, which is great. But that just basically means you can sync with the internal memory. That's all that's for, really. You're not going to put any games in that either. So, and as they put there, a high definition 5-inch LCD touchscreen. High definition? Not really. How can it be high definition when the highest resolution is only 640 by 480? That's not high resolution, is it? As it says here, it's more rounded to fit comfortably into hands. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it depends. Because it's a little bit bigger, is it really going to be more comfortable just because it's rounded? Improved usability by incorporating 1 GB internal memory card. They actually say PC Vita enables users to enjoy games without purchasing a separate PS Vita memory card. Games that you might fit 2, possibly up to 3 games on 1 GB, and that would be very small games that are only going to be, obviously, around 300 megabytes or less each, because you're going to need to keep so much space for the saves. So, let's say 300 maximum, 300 megabytes maximum. So, the longer battery life. Let's see, it says the redesigned internal architecture of the new PS Vita system also contributed to stronger battery duration, enabling it to achieve approximately 4 to 6 hours of gameplay. Current model is approximately 3 to 5 hours, and approximately 7 hours of video play. So they've kind of upped the battery power, not by much. I mean, if you're going to promote a longer battery life, make it more substantial than just a couple of hours. Double the battery life. That's going to be significant enough to say, we've made the battery life longer. Well, what do you think? Do you think Sony are right to bring out a new system that may not be as good as the existing Vita? Let me know in the comments. Either here on YouTube or on the Mental Games website. And thank you for watching / listening. Bye bye.